Leading up to my retirement, when people asked what my plan was, I just always responded with, I'm just going to take some time in the beginning for what I was referring to as recovery and discovery. I was tired. I was ready to step out of the chaos and kind of step into, I wasn't ready to jump into, but I was ready to step into this next phase, this whole thing about retirement. In this video, I'm going to share 3 questions that you can ask yourself to help you really dig into this whole discovery thing and discover what it is that you like to do. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What makes you say, "Ah, yeah, this is what I want to be doing." This is a big chapter. We have worked hard for this. And we need to put some effort into this. This is not necessarily easy stuff, but it is worth the effort. We need to make sure that we are positioned to embrace this next phase and make it as great as it can possibly be. It holds so much potential for us. And of course, life comes with ups and downs. And I'm not pretending for a second that that's not going to continue. I mean, life can be tough and can be downright tragic. We have far too many examples of that. All the more reason we need to be very deliberate about identifying and truly finding things and the activities that we want to spend our time doing. You know what those days, weeks, and months leading up to retirement are like. You have the, even if you're not there yet, and even if this is something in the future for you, you can envision what this is like. You have your retirement date set. You're on the home stretch. You have the date on your phone or the countdown on your phone. You have the countdown on your laptop. You are starting to envision what life will be like with no more work pressures related to deadlines, expectations, responsibilities, managing people, managing projects, reaching performance thresholds, whatever your work life has been in the past. You are starting to think about that freedom, what you are going to leave behind and no longer have to worry about. Woohoo! That is a wonderful feeling and it is fabulous. So many of us say, I can't wait, including myself, I should back up. I can't wait to do what I want when I want. Here's the catch, or here's the rub. It is wonderful if you know what you actually want to do. And apparently, this has been a bit of a stumbling block for many new retirees. We're so excited to be thinking about what we're retiring from that we haven't put in the time. We haven't put in the time and the effort to think about what we are retiring to. No worries. That's what I'm here to help you with. And I'm here to help you with the experiences I've had. Again, not from an expert perspective, but from living through this and continuing to live through this. These early years of retirement are often referred to as the go-go years, when we're busy and we're doing all the things that we want to do. Let's take advantage of it. That's not going to last forever. They talk about the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. I know, a little concerning to think about, but let's think about those go-go years and preparing for the slow-go years. So, after you've taken a little bit of time for recovery, and you do need the time for recovery, see my little video from last week about that. Then we start to step into the whole discovery. The recovery and discovery are my terms. This is not based on literature. This is just how I'm explaining it from my own perspective. The literature actually defines very specific retirement phases and stages, and there's lots of information out there if you want to dive deeper with that. One of the most important lessons I've learned in this 18 months of retirement is how individualized retirement is. We are all doing this our own way, and we should. That's what it's about. Even with my own circle of friends and past colleagues, we have very different approaches to how we are doing the whole retirement thing. It is a mixed bag, which is wonderful. Again, it is very individualized. This is your retirement, and it's going to be how you want to do it, or it should be how you want to do it. Some people are diving right back into the workforce and either pursuing a different career or taking a different track and doing similar things with what they've always done, but maybe with a different organization. Some are going back part-time to the same organization. Some people are just hanging out because they're just not quite sure what they want to do, but they know they don't want to work in the same area that they've worked before. Some people are traveling, and some people are pursuing lifelong dreams. Some people are opening new businesses. Some people are even starting YouTube channels. Some people are struggling, and I've had a few people chat with me about that it's not exactly what they expected. They weren't prepared for some of the things that they're experiencing. And so we're all over the map. And so we should be, because we are all very different in our approaches, but it's never too late or too early to make things better for the future. Some people are taking the time to totally focus on wellness and fitness. I spoke to one friend, this was actually before I retired, probably in the last few months leading up to my retirement. She said to me that she is probably in the best physical shape and fitness level that she's been in her whole entire life. And so, whatever your desires and dreams are, remember, they're your desires and dreams. It's your journey. None of these phases are defined by ages or time limits. They're defined by individual experiences. Popcorn is prepared in the same pot, in the same heat, in the same oil, and yet the kernels do not all pop at the same time. Don't compare yourself to others. Your turn to pop will come. Don't you love that? The whole pop thing may not be the best analogy when we're at this age, but I'm hoping you're seeing the popping as the discovery phase for your retirement, not pop off as we do at the end of this life. This really is why I shouldn't tell jokes. I'm the only one that ever thinks they're funny. Okay, back to the show. As I mentioned earlier, my video is a bit of an informal take on retirement. I'm not an expert. I'm not a coach. I'm not a retirement or a finance person. I am just simply somebody living through retirement and taking notes as I go so I can share with other people. And I'm hoping to learn from you as well. If you're someone who's actually struggling a bit with finding or identifying what things really do light you up, not all of us have that figured out. So, here are some questions to help you to get started. The first question is, think of the last time you had fun. I know these questions are going to seem odd, and you're going to think that, yeah, this is going to help me. This is the process that I actually went through and asked myself these questions and wrote down the answers, did some brainstorming with each of these. So, back to the question. So think of the last time you had fun, that you really had fun. And this may take a minute. I'll never forget when I was chatting with a girlfriend about this. I couldn't think of something. And I panicked because I thought, oh my God, I haven't even had fun. I don't even know how to have fun. So how am I going to know how to have fun in my retirement years? You know what? It takes a little time, a little nudging, a little work, a little quiet time thinking about it, and then you start to think about them. You think of all kinds of times that you had fun. Start with something a long time ago. That's always easier, and then you work up to the more recent times. But trust me, you've had fun. It just takes a minute to think, get your brain working. You may have to dig deep, but you'll find and you'll remember all kinds of examples of when you had fun. And the point is to grab some themes out of those situations. What was so fun about it? What was it that you loved about it? What were you doing? Who were the people that were around? What type of environment were you in? Where were you physically? Like, what location were you? Think about all of those things once you identify a couple of times that really bring fond memories, that you were having a lot of fun. And then one of the things to work through is there any part of that is something that could continue? Can you pull any kind of theme out of that? Is there something that you can recreate, or there will be some things that were just one-offs and just fabulous times and not something that you can recreate? But look for hints in those situations of, why were you enjoying yourself so much? This is hard work. Don't give up. Stick to it. Okay, the next question is, what is an activity that you can easily lose yourself in? And this is what they talk about. What are those things that you do that you get in your state of flow? Like for some people, for me, it's when I'm out in nature and I have my camera on my shoulder and I'm chasing birds and wildlife to try and take pictures. I could just completely lose myself in that. Do it for hours, and not even realize time is passing. And again, if nothing comes to mind, that's okay. That's the purpose of this activity, giving deliberate thought to it and trying to identify these things. Maybe it's something that you used to do years ago, and thinking back on it, you're thinking, oh my God, I just would lose all track of time. Maybe it's woodworking, maybe it's fishing, maybe it's reading, maybe it's macrameing, maybe it's scrapbooking, maybe it's knitting. It could be a number of things. And we're all different. So take some time to really think about, what is an activity that you can really lose yourself in. And then again, obviously, we can't whatever those activities are. We can't do that all the time, but this is about finding what kind of lights you up and where you get enjoyment and start to work that into our routines. Another question that is helpful to think about is, and this is a little bit more abstract, what have you ever wondered about? What have you been curious about? Doesn't matter. Don't overthink this. Don't think about all the reasons that you couldn't do this, but really just answer the question, what are some things you've ever wondered about doing? For me, I'll give this example. This is an example of how some of the things that end up on the list and some of the things you try may not be your thing. I've always wondered about belly dancing. It just, I'm watching those belly dancers, they just look so graceful and just, I don't know, there's just something about that that has always appealed to me. And so an opportunity came up, and a couple girlfriends and I signed up to take a belly dancing class. I thought in the beginning that I think I have a little bit of rhythm. I'd probably be really good at this. And I was picturing myself looking like those people you see on videos, or when you go on vacations and they come to your table and they're dancing. I thought I would look like that. No, I was terrible at it. Terrible at it. But we did our 6-week class. It was a great experience. It was a fun night of getting out, making connections, meeting new people, hanging out with girlfriends. It was a fabulous time. It's not something I'm gonna pursue, and it did not turn out how I thought. I was terrible at it, but again, it was something that I was always curious about. Give some thought to those things, and they don't have to be really complicated things. Just take the time to think about it. So those are the 3 things to get you started. Think about, when was a time when you last had fun? Think about an activity or activities, plural, that you can lose track of time at, that you get in that state of flow, and that you are just completely and thoroughly enjoying yourself. And no worries if you don't have one. That's okay. This is just a thought process. This is just one of 3 questions to consider. And then the third one is, give some thought to something that you've always wondered about, something that you're curious about. Again, if the answers don't come easily, that is okay. Spend some time, spend 10, 15 minutes pondering each one of these. Go for a walk and think about these questions. So working your way through these questions is not an exercise in writing. This is an exercise in discovery. You need to think about it. You need to write it down. And then the tough part, you need to execute the plan. You need to put some action behind some of these things. So what if they don't work out? It doesn't matter. Maybe we're not all meant to be belly dancers, but it still was a fabulous experience. And remember, when you're in your comfort zone, as they say, that comfort zone is a place where dreams go to die. So you need to push yourself a little bit. And some of us need help with that. And so there's all kinds of ways to do that. Maybe you need an accountability partner. Find someone that you can chat through this. Find somebody who's in a similar situation, and you can do it together, and you'll hold each other accountable to try some of these new things that you're going to put on your list, or that you're going to discover. The other thing is, make sure, because it's so easy to listen to this stuff and then file it away. So pick one thing to try in your first couple months of retirement, or wherever you are in your stage of retirement. Even if you've been retired for a while and you happen to be watching this and you're trying to think about some of these questions, pick one thing to try in the next few weeks and see how it goes. The idea is to explore and discover. And the question that I often ask myself now is, when I'm kind of hesitating about something, I ask myself, if not now, when? And if not you, who? Nobody else is coming to do this for you. This is something you've worked for and something you deserve. So make it the best it can be.